that's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Comic Reviews. I'm Part 2, and I don't have a ton to talk about today, only 4 or 5 books. But one of them is very, very substantial. My normal crew that usually shows up to accompany me and chat in the live section probably ain't going to be here tonight, or at least not right away. Let's start out with announcements, though. Update on the Rotlop fan audio drama. It is going well, continues to be going well. Not a ton more to say. Still working on a trailer, getting a lot of animation work done for that. Also working on just, getting lines from people as that process continues. I only got a couple people that I'm waiting on, which is good. What else can I tell you about? Trailer for that, hopefully soon-ish. Not going to promise a date or anything yet because it's not anywhere near close to that level of finished, but I've made significant progress. You should follow me on Twitter if you have one and just read what I talk about when I'm working with Maya because, that's just too much fun. Red Leader says he cannot have sound because he's recording a vid. Wave to the camera while flipping it off to communicate. That's actually kind of hard to do. I don't know why, but it's like, maybe it's just because I'm looking at myself. I don't know. Okay, anyway. Where are all the white women at? Good question. Okay, Matthew, Bennett, and Red are here. Well, Red's like kind of here. Red, how am I supposed to communicate with you if you don't have sound on? You're ridiculous. What am I gonna wave my finger in Morse code or something? Okay, anyway, let's start talking about the books this week. Oh, wait, one other announcement thing. Sorry. Geeky Gentlemen character profiles are back. We had trouble getting the next episode to record, so we got Daredevil down. That's back. We're going to try to get the next episode recorded sometime soon. Oh, and speaking of Steve, he and I did a review of I Am Bane, the completed arc. So if you support Steve on Patreon, you can see that right now. But if you just subscribe to him, it should be up in the next couple days. Okay. Now let's talk about the current comics. So, like, lithographs are pretty friggin' sweet. Not gonna lie. Now, the story might turn out to be complete garbage, but man, I'm digging all the lithographs. Marvel was like, oh, DC's putting out their lithographic covers for the button? Well, we'll put out this. And it's kind of neat. No lie. It's got a cool factor to it. Can't deny it. Problem is, it's not the cover of the book. It's like a promotional thing put with it, and that would be, I don't know, why not just make it the cover? Why is that so hard? What else? Like, this is going to be either really cool to own by the end of this, or it's going to be like, wow, what a waste of a lithograph. Anyway, so the first book we're talking about is Secret Empire #1, which is a monster. I've read trades smaller than that, and this was only $6. I mean, that's still pretty pricey for a single issue of a comic book, but you're definitely getting your money's worth just pure content-wise. Pure page number. Okay, now this part really confused me. Okay, you ready? Check this out. Secret Empire #1. Lenticular. I was saying lithographic. Lenticular. Whatever. Okay, so Secret Empire #1. Open it up. and you get Secret Empire #1. Why? Why is the first page the cover page? Did I get a misprint? What happened? So yeah. There's a lot going on in this, y'all. I'm kind of open with one of my things that I've always wanted to see in the Marvel Universe, though never expected this way, where we just have history class in the Marvel Universe. It's alternate fascist Captain America history class, but it's history class. So I enjoyed that. And there's obviously a time skip here from Secret Empire #0. So that's a thing. Captain Marvel and all the cosmic superheroes are still stuck out in space. The Avengers team is weird. Why is Vision still on the Avengers? I don't get that. Vision is on the Avengers, but his daughter Vision is not. Weird. Okay, anyway. Just shit's going down. It's interesting to see how fascist Captain America is leading the society and what he's doing with that. And it's interesting to see all these people, all the Avengers, all the other superheroes are dealing with being, fighting on the sidelines. Trying to, restore the society or whatever. And apparently they've lost a number of people trying to figure out if Captain America has been brainwashed or hypnotized or mind controlled or whatever. I don't know. And then Rick Jones is going to be murdered, or is murdered by the end of the issue, as well as Las Vegas being just demolished. So, again, there's definitely some commentary here. There's some interesting ideas being thrown around. And again, I'm tempted to say I'm enjoying it. I'm intrigued by it, certainly. But I don't know where this is going. This is one of those things where, like, I would feel a lot better if I were reading it after the fact when I knew what happened. This is a really hard series to read month to month. And there are hints that Spencer understands the implications of what's happening. Like, yeah, they kill Rick Jones by the end of this. He's executed as an enemy of the state. And his last words are "Avengers Assemble." That was kind of cool. But how to put this? There was talk of Steve not wanting to hurt his friends or not wanting to do executions. And there's this really interesting scene with Steve and the Council of Hydra. Gotta find it. Well, probably skipped it. It's a little too thick, honestly. Yeah, there's this interesting scene where Steve is talking with the Council of Hydra, and it goes on for quite a while, probably a little overwritten, to be honest. And they all have these very super villain rule the world suggestions for him, like crush them and make them fear you, or hypnotize them, or yada, yada, yada. And Steve isn't quite interested in that. And you find out that they've been delaying executions of traitors. And then I guess Rick Jones is the first, and the attack on Las Vegas is the culmination of all that. So there's this sense that Steve is holding himself back and doesn't actually want to be doing these things, but by the end he's committed to them, and he's obviously, he does it. Gotta find it again. This scene's portrayed with some gravity. It's hard to tell. There's obviously implication. Nothing on the surface of this is exactly what you think it is. I'd like to think, but again, it's just that I know Spencer's politics independent of the book, and I don't feel like he understands certain things, and so I'm worried what his conclusion's going to be, what kind of conclusion he wants to make with this. I mean, it's a pretty heavy-handed metaphor, but not a terrible one, to have children saying Hail Hydra in the classrooms, and to get to, Las Vegas, bus station, and it's like, there is a train arriving on platform 1. This rail service is brought to you by Hydra Works. There's all this stuff going on. See if I can find the news thing where they talk about, the changes that are being made to the country. Okay. As citizens cheered another Avengers victory, with no civilian casualties and minimal property damage, the triumph seemed to come at an ideal time for the leadership. Fresh on the heels of a new report showing that violent crime is down nearly 75% since Hydra saved the country. In market news today, Dr. Faust was on hand to celebrate the Malik exchange hitting new heights, breaking the record set last month as investors cheered falling unemployment thanks to new stimulus spending. Courtesy of the Hydra Works program, 3 more shovel-ready projects were announced today, including the Dreadnought manufacturing facility in Little Rock, expected to create over 2,000 new jobs. Lead Hydra Works official Armin Zola attended the ribbon cutting and promised this was only the beginning. Meanwhile, in world news, a new trade agreement has been signed between Mandapore and U.S. representatives, with officials declaring a new age in Hydra-Pacific relations, which will surely be a topic of conversation this afternoon as the Hydra High Council convenes to discuss new national defense strategies in the upcoming Day of Reckoning, where around 20 people convicted of treason are set to face the firing squad. There's some pretty significant commentary of the current administration in there, not least of which on the line about trade negotiations or trade agreements. It's a pretty big deal. This isn't mindless. He's aware to some degree of what he's doing. I'm afraid of his conclusions. I'm almost afraid to talk about this book month to month because I don't know where he's going with it. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I really don't. Again, lenticular. Neatness. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to a new book. Did I announce that I dropped books and added new ones or not? In case I did, real quick. Poe Dameron, Kong, King of the Apes, and Doctor Who, 10th Doctor are no longer on my pull list. I got tired of those books month to month, and they usually come out during my heaviest week, so they're gone. Which, you know, it's not great because none of them were like overly bad. It's just they weren't good. But I've got some new stuff that I added. Added the Chuck Dixon Bane books. I'll be picking that up for, what is it, 12 issues? Yeah, 1 of 12. And I also added this, which is a mini-series as well. It's called Predator Hunters. This is a 5-issue mini-series by Chris Warner. And it looks interesting. I always like Predator in the comics. I always like Predator. I want to read more of him in the comics. Just seems that everything I read doesn't quite get the Predator right. This, however, has an interesting premise. With a title like Predator Hunters, you'd think, okay, so it's going to be the Predators, you know, hunting hunters or something like that. And no. The premise of this book is we have a team of people who have faced predators and lived to tell about it. They succeeded in killing said predators, or just the predator didn't bother with them. So we get like the backstory of this team that's assembling. And it's pretty interesting. My favorite being the last team member, and apparently this like goes in continuity with some other Predator comics I haven't read, but for her, hunting predators is a family tradition. And so they've put a team together of people who have killed predators, and they're going to go hunt predators. I like that idea. It's a nice reversal of expectations. Kind of a neat little plan there. I like the idea that Grant Morrison put forward in his video game that he helped write, or wrote rather, Predator Concrete Jungle. Pretty good game if you've never played it. I highly recommend it if you have access to PS2 or whatever. If not, it's still pretty good for the story in and of itself. Not a fantastic thing because, you know, video game and all that, but the story is still pretty solid overall. But in that, a predator failed its mission, and humans got a hold of its technology because of that. And due to that, they propelled themselves forward significantly in a technological jump, which is why it's in like a different universe than our own. And that's how we had companies like Weyland-Yutani doing space exploration to the point that they were able to. And this is kind of doing something similar, where we have slowly the predators aren't completely dominating humanity anymore. Kuma Ranger knows it. Yes, Predator Concrete Jungle. I promised you a night to remember, sweetheart. But yeah, Scarface, awesome Predator. Hold on, I don't think I've shown this off on this show. Speaking of Predator Concrete Jungle, Scarface. NECA released a figure of him. I can get him to... Scarface, you're drunk. Okay, Scarface, help me out here. You need to bend forward. There we go. Son of a bitch. Maybe just long enough for me to sit down, please. Oh, of course not. Oh, some of the problems with these bigger figures. Yeah. So this is an NECA Scarface figure from the game. But anyway, back to the comic itself. I would like him to be here. Scarface, why can't you be like Rotlop fan and just chill? You know? Roloff fan, great figure, by the way, because his arms act as extra supports. Come on. Just put more weight on your foot. Okay, I think that's good. But the comic itself is really interesting in that setup of humans hunting predators. It's what they do. They hate predators because they've all survived them, and so now they're hunting them as like kind of revenge. I don't know. That's a pretty neat idea. Matthew Bennett says Rotlop versus Scarface. Green Lantern would fucking dominate a predator. Dominate a predator. It wouldn't even be a contest. You'd have to give the predator a ring. That's the only way to be fair, is if the predator had a yellow ring. Or maybe you could do a story where the predator was able to siphon off the energy. But even then, at that point, it's not as fun. If you were to do that, okay, I'll say this. If you did a Green Lantern Predator crossover, John Stewart's the character to go for. And yeah, you'd have to do the cliche thing, which is to depower him. But still, I think there could be interesting things. You could maybe set it during the period where the yellow impurity existed, so the ring didn't have an effect on yellow objects. And you could have the Predator wearing something that made him all yellow. That could you might have something there. Thank you, Sean. This was, I think this guy was like $30, which isn't half bad, and I seriously picked it up because of how much I love Predator Concrete Jungle. So I recommend that game. But in all honesty, this is an issue that works entirely based on its premise. First couple of pages don't really, at the moment at least, have anything to do with the wider issue. Predator looks kind of cool in this book, though. And I mean, you could maybe say that they come a little too often in this kind of continuity, but I think that's something you just have to give with comics, because otherwise you can't do ongoing stories. Also, our main character, I think, or the main member of the team that we find out the most about in this issue is Native American. So that's kind of cool. Excited to see where that goes. But yeah, solid first issue. And only 4 more to go. Can't imagine they screw it up that badly. But we'll find out, because I am now reading this book week to week, month to month. Hopefully not year. I hope it doesn't turn into Kong Skull Island, where it was clearly only meant to go for so many issues and they couldn't figure out what to do. Whew. How's everybody doing? I got Nero Cole, I got Matthew Bennett, I got Sean. Hi, Sean. Okay. Let's go ahead and go on to Bane, Conquest. So this is the book that's getting a lot of buzz because Chuck Dixon's writing it, and he, of course, created Bane with Graham Nolan doing the art. And again, Bane created by Chuck Dixon, Doug Mochin, and Graham Nolan. So, you know, we've got the people who made the character writing the character again after that fantastic run from Tom King. I am Bane. Check out the review. Go support Steve on Patreon. Thing is, and the guy at the comic shop really pointed this out to me. I hadn't even thought of it that much. Bane was knocked his ass out on the floor. That was the last time we saw Bane, was knocked out on the floor of Arkham. And the only reference we get to I am Bane is Bane saying, Bane, I am Bane. Also, Bane's using weapons in this, and I don't particularly like that. Like, this is a very 90s image right there. That is a very 90s image. He's got the machine gun on his back and the machete. That's straight out the 90s. And so, yeah, he like jumps up on the boat and immediately shoots some guys, and then, you know, cuts off a dude's hand with a big ass machete. I didn't quite know what to make of that. That was kind of weird. Also, Bane is white again. I really don't like that. Whatever. And he's not bald anymore. And he was bald in I Am Bane, or I Am Suicide. So I don't know what the hell is going on with this as far as continuity goes. Oh, Scarface, I think I'm going to put you over in this area, so you're not in my way of my frame, but people can still admire you. So what's going on with the issue itself? Well, there's a terrorist cell somewhere in Gotham, and they are trying to get weapons supplies so that they can launch an attack. And so Bane is trying to maneuver to figure out who it is and stop it before it happens. But of course, he's Bane, so it's very violent. Okay, I know what it is that bothers me about the way Graham Nolan's drawing Bane here. I gotta find a good panel of it. God damn it. Okay, right here is a pretty good one. Right there. It's that his mask isn't covering his nose. I'm not doing a cartwheel. Come on, y'all. That's just ridiculous. I gotta find better panel up close on Bane's mask. But yeah, I really don't like that. It looks just awkward. Come on, where's that? That's just weird. Why would you not have the nose covered? That looks awkward. It adds detail in a really weird way. Yeah, so Bane's trying to figure out who this terrorist is, and he's like using all these different resources to do it. And that's, you know, it's interesting. You get to the end and he gets like captured by a guy named Damocles. And I don't know if that's a character that we've ever heard of. Like, what makes this especially difficult is you open it up and there's no context catch-up page, anything like that. This is just credits. Doesn't tell you anything about what the hell Bane is doing. And so I don't know what the context for this issue is whatsoever, and that bothers me. It's not that it's bad. It's just I don't know a ton about what's happening. I really get that sense of if I didn't know who Bane was, I wouldn't have any idea what's going on whatsoever. Oh, what's going on the YouTube? Sorry, never mind. Not working. Whatever. YouTube. So yeah, this book is like I'm picking this up not because I have a ton of interest in it, but because people asked me to. And I can't quite get my head to match with the scale of the book. That's disappointing. But I don't have a ton of interest in this. I've never really dug Chuck Dixon as a writer one way or another. Nor Bane as a character, to be honest with you, aside from Tom King's Bane, I Am Bane book, and I Am Suicide, obviously. But so I'm kind of just on the fence about it. We got 12 issues. We'll see where it goes. Oh, come on. Come on. Okay. Let's continue on with DC Comics Bombshells number 26, which continues to be damn good. I will have a complaint to make about a consistent thing that Margurite Bennett's been doing with this book. And I got to get the number of pages that this happens over down so I can try to figure it out for you. Okay. All right. So as always, this book tells like kind of 3 stories. So here's the number of pages for the first story. Not a huge amount or anything. But the first story is just catching us up on what everybody's doing with song. And Bennett's been doing that. It's not that the lyrics are bad. It's a well-timed, well-paced, well-written lyrical progression, but it's a comic book. Lyrics don't belong in a comic book. That's all I've really got to say. Lyrics and song really aren't the place for comics. Or comics aren't the place for lyrics and song. So that's just odd that we have a whole story that's just nothing but what are all these characters doing in song. And I will say, for a comic, I'm not having a hard time following where the rhymes progress and match. I would like to hear this. I don't know. I find that really silly. And it's just out of place. Songs really don't work in comics no matter what you do. Don't care if you give me notes to indicate that it's a song. Don't care if you give me the sheet music. I can't read it. Don't really care what you do. Song, lyricism never really works in a song. Or lyrics never work in a song. Songs never work in a comic. If Alan Moore couldn't do it, I don't think you really can either. So that's a little disappointing in this issue. No lie. But then once we get into the actual story stuff, it's pretty good. Just normally good for this book. Not like wow, but like consistently cool. Yeah, solid. I like this 2-page sequence. I wish it had been not broken up by an ad page, but we just get this first-person perspective thing of these hands going after a character. Oh, damn it. Ad page. And I skipped a page that time. Great. Hands going after a character and murdering them in cold blood in the forest. And so Zatanna and Constantine have been helping Raven deal with her powers. That's neat. I like that idea. That's a nice little happy family. The Raven still doesn't look like Raven to me. They really should have given her pale skin. Maybe that's a coloring issue. Just when Raven first showed up in this book, I had no idea who that was. Everyone's talking about Injustice too. Yeah, that Joker looks god awful. Harley and Ivy are leaving Atlantis. Great sentence. Yeah, man, so Raven isn't like pale at all, and like that's just a very distinct part of her character. I'll see if I can give like here's a good panel because you got Zatanna like holding her, consoling her after a nightmare. Zatanna's the one in the black robe, Raven's the one in the blue. And that's just, you know, Raven, like when you think Raven, she's usually got kind of pale, kind of gray skin. And that's just not the way they're really portraying her. And that's just, like, when she first showed up, I didn't know who it was. You know, that's a fair point. Mano says, I guess pale isn't like pinup girl-like, and that's a fair point because that would kind of contradict the art style that this book is emulating. But at the same time, I feel like you could have still done something. The character designs in this series are pretty damn smart, most 9 times out of 10. See if I can find a good panel of Raven. They don't have a great one of her in costume. I guess this one over here would work best. Like that's about what you need, like to get some of the ideas. It's just, you know, she's really known for the hood. She's got like horns, but she's known more for the hood. I don't know. Not their best character design, honestly, is the best I can give you. Harley does have a great line as her and Ivy leave Atlantis on a giant manta ray. I love comics because I get to say sentences like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy leave Atlantis on a giant manta ray. But yeah, Harley says, "Goodbye, Your Majesty. Thanks for the giant flying manta ray. He's very inconspicuous." I like that. Neat idea that Ivy is going to, or plans to go to Russia to help with famines that they've been experiencing because of fighting the Germans. Mano says, I think they should have made her pale. I guess they're only doing stereotypical pinup girls. I don't think that the artist doing the book gets to design the characters. I'm pretty sure they just have to work with whatever the character designs the statue line is doing. So that'd be my best explanation for that. But yeah, I agree. There's some character designs I just flat out don't like. Harley Quinn being one of them. Poison Ivy, I'm hit and miss on. Harley Quinn's costume design for this, I do not like at all because she just looks like modern Harley Quinn. Anyway. Then we go to, and Raven sneaks away with Harley and Ivy. That was kind of clever because she doesn't want to, or she wants to go find her father. Meanwhile, Steve Trevor and Supergirl are traveling back to Russia, back to her homeland, so that she can try to find her mother. And they're on a train in Istanbul, traveling to Russia. And they're in like a dance car on the train, like a formal dance kind of setting. And Lex Luthor asks if he can cut in. He's been kind of like behind the scenes. Lex Luthor's a war profiteer in this continuity, which is kind of great. Manos, I too hate current Harley. Bombshells Harley is written really well. I just hate her costume design. Anyway. So he asks Supergirl to dance, and they start to. This is an interesting scene where she's like, you think this, this, and this of me. And he's like, no, not at all. Not at all. And then she's like, then what do you want from me? He's like, I did come to make you an offer, a proposal. He pulls something out of his jacket, and you're like, okay, what's it going to be? To help me hunt down true monsters. And we get a knife, a green knife. A blade of kryptonite, and a few other things besides, for your true enemy when you know her. And then as that happens, she starts to get attacked by spies tailing her from both sides, both Russian and German spies. And fighting them in this old-style train car messes up the gas lines and puts the train in danger, catches it on fire. And the whole time Lex Luthor is talking to her, and he says, who is your greatest enemy, Kara? Who brings destructions on those you love? Who is your enemy? Who is your enemy? You are. So he is like, she's already very emotionally vulnerable because of the death of Stargirl, her sister. She even says in her conversation with Luthor, man, where's it at? Anyway, I can't find the moment where she says it, but she says that she hasn't flown since her sisters died. And that's just really interesting idea. That's just a really interesting idea. That, you know, she's very emotionally vulnerable because of the death of Stargirl. And so Lex Luthor is able to pick up on this, and he offers her a kryptonite knife and tells her to use it on her true enemy, herself. That's some heavy shit, y'all. And that's like that's a very Lex Luthor thing to me. At least I feel like it is. I don't know. I think that's pretty clever. I think that was a smart idea. So I'm excited to see where that goes. Excited to see what happens with Raven. Ian needs to cosplay as Bombshells Batwoman. Y'all, really? I can't trust you in the comments. Oh my. Conversation derailed. Wow. Just wow. Okay, let's move on from Bombshells. Pretty, like, it's consistently good. It's not the best thing. It's not the best that book has been. So anyway, we were talking about lenticulars. Here we are, more lenticulars. I guess my problem with this cover is you have Thomas Wayne Batman standing over dead Bruce and unconscious Martha. So you have Thomas Wayne standing over dead Bruce and unconscious Martha in one cover, and then you have the Reverse Flash standing over Barry's mother dead and Barry Allen crying over her body. The problem with this one is the background doesn't change. It's just the characters, and like it makes sense in the Thomas Wayne cover, but like it should be the house in the Flash cover. Okay, Nathan Snyder's complaining about the button plot. Don't tell me. Anyway, so like the second lenticular cover, I didn't really care for all that much either, just because like there wasn't enough of a change. This has a lot more change. It's just it doesn't have as much context. Doesn't work as well. Okay, so what's going on in this issue is even though the Flashpoint was supposed to have ended, something has prolonged it. And so like Thomas Wayne's world didn't end after Barry Allen left, and it's only gotten worse since he's been gone. And now they've accidentally landed there. And you have Bruce and Thomas meeting and not knowing how to react to each other and stuff, while the Wayne Manor is under attack. And so Thomas and Bruce have to team up as father and son and fight off the attackers, who are Amazonians and Atlanteans, while Barry Allen fixes the cosmic treadmill. So the criticism this story has got so far, Red's pointing out problems with it. Yeah, it's not like a super bright story. It's not a super bright thing. Like Thomas Wayne is supposed to be dead in the Flashpoint continuity, but the Flashpoint continuity is supposed to be gone too. So technically you can make an argument that whatever's going on is meant to be going on, that someone brought him back or whatever. I don't know. But what worked for me in this worked really well. So Thomas asks Bruce, the last time we were in these caves together, you were just a boy, but do you remember what I said when the rope was pulling us out? And Bruce says, barely. You were whispering because you didn't want to scare the bats. Dad. Some bickering with Barry. And then Bruce says, Father, your letter. It was the greatest gift anyone's ever given to me. After I read it, I knew I'd never get a chance to respond, but if I did, there was one thing I wanted to tell you above anything else. You're a grandfather. I have a son. Come with us, please. And Thomas throws Bruce onto the treadmill. Flash grabs him and starts to, take off. And Thomas says to Flash, you promised you'd save my son. Now do it. And Thomas takes off his hood and he says, you were my world, son. I delivered you myself, and the moment I saw you, I knew every choice I'd ever made had been the right ones. Because they led to you. You're the greatest gift this life has ever given to me, and there's more I should have shared in that letter, so listen to me. Don't be Batman. Find happiness, please. You don't have to do this. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for your mother. Be a father for your son in a way I never could be for you. Let the Batman die with me. Like, that, say what you will about the story, but that is the perfect thing to do with Thomas Wayne Batman. That he has the chance to interact with his son, and he tells him, don't do it, because no parent would ask their son to become what Batman is. To shun a life of happiness, to shun finding someone to love or finding what makes you happy in life, to shun all that and just become this machine of a man devoted to one thing and one thing only, in your name. And that really, this scene builds in, I feel, really well with a lot of what Tom King's been doing. We just had that great moment in I Am Bane wrap up with Martha Wayne, a personification of Martha Wayne that Bruce thinks of, telling him, oh, you did this because it was part of the mission, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, comments derailed me. You have all this stuff like that Martha Wayne and this perception, and you have that great little closing line where she says, you don't have to die well for me to be proud of you. I'm already proud of you. And Bruce says, I know. And then this comes in, it's like, you don't need to be Batman for us. We just want you to be happy. Let it die with me. That's a good scene. Red brings up an interesting point, and this is not something I knew about. All right, let's see here. Red says, I don't like that scene. We already did that. Rucka did it in Death and the Maidens. Literally the same conversation. But everyone this year rip off Rucka. Even King did it. King at least did not steal the exact scene. Okay. See, I haven't read that. I'll need to, because that sounds really interesting. I think the added context of we already have a Thomas Wayne Batman. Like, say what you will about that. The idea of a continuity, think of it like an Elseworlds. Ignore the whole universe changing stuff. Just think of it like an Elseworlds. We have an Elseworlds continuity where Bruce Wayne was the one that died and his parents were the ones that lived. I'll give you Martha Wayne Joker is probably a little stupid. I personally like it just for the shock value, but I'll give you that. The more you think about it, the more it breaks down. Thomas Wayne Batman is, I think, a legitimately interesting idea, despite how well it was actually done. And so to have Bruce meet not like a past version of his father or like a resurrected version of his father, to meet a version of his father that went on the exact path he did is really interesting. And to have that version specifically say, don't be Batman, I don't want that for you, is really fascinating. And I really like that. I enjoyed that scene. So the criticism I've heard is not enough really happened in this issue. And I'll totally give that to you. And like, not much has happened in this crossover regardless. Like the first issue is just Batman getting his ass kicked. I enjoyed that, but that's all it is. The second issue is just Barry sitting there going, oh, well, Batman got his ass kicked, blah, blah, blah. Oh, let's go on a cosmic treadmill, running through time. Okay, cool. And this issue is, oh, wrong turn. Wait, there's Thrawn. There's Thawne. Okay, let's figure out what's happening. That's seriously all that happens in this. I will say King's a lot more dense in what he does with stuff than who is it? Williamson is. So that certainly helps as things go on. Gotta find it. Yeah, they're doing the story together. Joshua Williamson did the script in this issue? Interesting. But anyway, I don't know, there's a lot going on. These issues are pretty dense, and I find that interesting. like that first issue, not a lot happened in it. I don't know. I'm kind of digging it. There's some density to the panels here and stuff like that. I could have done without the Thomas Wayne and Bruce Wayne kicking ass together scene. I feel that is completely superfluous, but whatever. I just enjoyed the conversation. That worked for me, and maybe it's been done better by Rucka. Certainly, we'll give it to you, but I don't know, y'all. This one was pretty good. Like my thing is, I don't expect this to really work on a super high level. I don't expect this to excel or to be incredibly thoughtful. It's a comic book crossover to deal with a bad choice in continuity. And so on that level, I think it works and works fairly well. At least so far. It's crossing over with Watchmen, which is, comic book gold. And it's not bad so far. The stuff connected to Watchmen hasn't gotten super deep, but it's not it's not stomping over Watchmen. It's not like missing any kind of the point or anything like that so far. So I don't know. I'm willing to run with it. Get it because the Flash. I don't know. I'm willing to give it some rope. It's not terrible. If you don't like it, that's fine. No one's gonna make you. I just, I initially didn't have any interest in this story. I wanted it simply for the lenticulars because those are. Say what you will about the story. That is undeniably neat. That is just undeniably neat. The 3-year-old me is like, ooh. Lenticulars are cool. I don't understand how they work. I don't know. So it's working for me on some level. I'm curious to see where it goes, how it ends. I think we only have one issue left, though, so we're going to have to get a hell of a lot done in one issue. Also, lenticulars just feel good. I know I'm weird. I don't know, y'all. If you don't like it, I mean, no one's going to hold you to it. People are just sitting here making fun of Flashpoint. And yeah, Flashpoint logically didn't make any sense. I just thought it was interesting to see an alternate continuity of DC. Like, I just looked at Flashpoint as a giant, month-long of Elseworld stories, and I love me some Elseworlds, so. And I will grope the comic. It makes a noise. DJ. So I don't know. I'm curious to see where this goes. Oh no, I hope I didn't ruin my book. I didn't know that scratching it was bad for it. Oh no. Anyway. Yeah, that's all I got. I'm not gonna say this is the greatest thing ever, but I'm enjoying it on some level. It's entertaining. That's all I got, guys. Nah, I think the book's good. I just saw some nail marks. I'm like, oh no. Oh, lenticulars. Yeah, we got the double lenticular this week. Seriously, comic companies, if you want me to buy your book, just put lenticular. That shit's cool. Red's asking what's after the button, and yeah, it's Swamp Thing. Grady Childs is anxiously awaiting question time, so let's go ahead and make him happy. What do you think of the X-Men Dark Phoenix so far? From what I've heard, or rather what little I've heard, it's going to be a train wreck, no cast, no cast, writer or director confirmed. Your thoughts? It's not going to happen if it's supposed to be in like a year and a half. They're not going to get it up in time. That's barely enough time to do a goddamn animation. Oh man, I was posting some comic reviews tonight too. Cool. We should do something talking comics sometime, Manos. I'd enjoy that. Particulars. What else going on? Fan film reviews, Geeky Gentleman fan film reviews. It's coming back tomorrow. Rasco's now moved into his apartment and everything, so we'll have that back tomorrow. Manos, yeah, let's message on Skype sometime, figure something out. Red Leader Antilles, Ian, will you cosplay as a DC Bombshell? Okay, I'll tell you what. Yes, but you have to buy and send me all the stuff for it. I will not make anything myself, so you have to send me ready-to-wear things, and I demand high-quality merchandise here. None of this, like, you know, I don't want any cheap stuff. I need to be, like, film-ready. There's your challenge. Ball is in your court, sir. If you just really want to see me in a dress, go to my channel and search me in a dress, 200 subscribers. There you go. Favorite comic cover ever? Ooh, that's really hard. I love some covers, man. I don't have one forever. I don't have one for just flat out ever. But I will say I really love the Green Lantern Star Trek #4 variant cover from last month. That is like my current favorite at the moment. Or wait, no, I take that back. I know exactly what my favorite comic book cover is. Took me forever. I can't believe I forgot about this. Gotta see if I can remember the name of the book, but I love the cover. It's from an Elseworlds, since we were just talking about Elseworlds. I'll see if I can pull it up for you guys. It's just called Batman. I love this cover. And this is the problem, is it's really hard to find this. No, I thought that was it. Where's it at? It's from like a Nothing Elseworld story from way back in the day. Let's try the phrase Elseworlds. See if I can find it for you. Yes, there we go. Batman Two Faces. Love this cover. Oh shit! Come on, give me a better picture of it than that. And of course, that's the case. Come on. Oh, hold on. Let me go to Google. Using Bing, that's the fucking problem. Okay. I don't even know what the live comments are like right now. I bet it's just chaos without me. Well, this one. Okay, search by image. Let's see what I can find. I love this cover too. Okay, here we go. Nice big size cover. Come on. Computer's running really slow tonight for some reason. Okay. Screen share. Just do the full screen. Okay, there we go. Infinite YouTube. All right, so this is my favorite cover ever, hands down. This is cover for an Elseworlds. It's called Batman Two Faces. And it's just a really, really neat story, but I love the dynamic that this cover captures. This perfectly captures what the story is about. And it's just really neat to see Batman and Joker presented in that way. That's really cool. This is hands down my favorite cover, and it's also a really good story. That's one of those issues that I bought strictly because of the cover.